Hey, everybody. Welcome to tonight's awesome launch party. We're so excited that you're here. I'm Susan May Warren. I'm the founder of My Book Therapy and the planner and Novel Academy and a lot of other things. And I'm an author as well. And I have with me tonight the amazing Terry Ferris, other side, who is also an author. And she is the project manager here at My Book Therapy. And we are so excited because tonight is the night. Tonight is the night where we launch our 2022 planner, and we're so excited. So we're going to wait for people to get in, and if you're here, say hi. We'd love to say hi to you, and we're so excited that you can join us for tonight. It's going to be a fun night. We have some door prizes, and we'll put up the link where you can sign up for door prizes if you're here. Yep, so that's the door prize, and we are. It's very cool. We got a little packet of plannery stuff for you. If you want to sign up for that, you have to go to our link tree, and there's a little link that you can sign up there, and then of course you also get everybody wins a prize tonight because if you're here, you also get a story crafting planner, which is very helpful in crafting stories. It's sort of the Novel Academy way to build a story. So, so don't forget to go there. Hey, Emily. Hey, Molly. It's great to see you. And Janie is here. Hey, Janie. Oh, Penny. There's my girl Penny.
That's right.
Lisa Marie. Yeah, let's get this party started. I like it. Good. All right. So we're excited to have you guys here. So we are going to go through sort of the planner, what it looks like, some of the changes that we've made for this year. And then we're going to have a Q&A time. So that'll kind of be at the end. So if you have questions, feel free to post them, but we probably will take them at the end. So yes, we're very excited to have you here. So hey, BJ, it's nice to see you, and Bonnie and Harley and Kelly. It's really great to see you guys. So good deal. All right. This is our new cover for this year. We're very, very excited. We have a number of other covers as well. We're going to be showing that to you in a second. But this cover was made by one of my favorite artists, Mary DeMuth, and she made our cover last year as well. This year, we do have a number of other covers as well, but this was our sort of creative artistic cover that we are going to use. And I really love this cover. I feel like it's really fun. It's got sort of the same presentation as last year with the light bulb, and it's got our new logo on the back, which is super fun. And but anyway, it's very, very great cover. So thank you to Mary DeMuth for this unique art that she gave us for our cover. All right, so let's get started on tonight's all right, there we go. And we finally got the awesome rest of the covers. Well done, Terry. Well done. So we have this one. We've got a striped cover. We've got a kind of a cover that looks like a typewriter cover. We have a hexagon cover. We have a floral cover, and we have a plain cover. And we're going to be going through all of the covers later on and sort of showing you some of the features of those. But yes, we have all the covers. So we have 6 covers, and we have 4 sizes again. So lots of options for this year, and it's very exciting. We also have 3 undated planners, a 6-month, a 9-month, and a 12-month. And most importantly, we have a color option. So you can get your planner in full cover if you want. So it's really fun for people that, I mean, I have a lot of colors in my planner. I use markers in my planner, so I like the black and white. But for people that just like already the colors embedded, it's really, really fun. So we're going to have some close-ups of that tonight too. So let's get started. We're kind of going to go through the reason we have our planner. Again, don't forget to sign up for the door prize tonight. It's going to be great. We're going to have we have 2 door prizes, but then again, everybody gets a prize, so you can get your story crafting planner. And so we have a 2022 step-by-step story crafting planner. So if you've never done story crafting with Novel Academy before, this will walk you through all of the pieces that you need to build a story. And it's really helpful. It's what I use in building my story. And it's not just the pieces, it's explanations on how to do it. So it's really helpful if you want to dive into, plotting a story. All right, let's get going. And let's just talk for a second. What are the biggest challenges to your writing life? So Terry, what would you say are your biggest challenges to your writing life?
For me, definitely blocking off time. Which I know is kind of funny because we're here talking about planners, but every year that is always a challenge for me. I remember when my kids went to school, and I was like, now that they're all in school, I will definitely have more time. But the reality is actually it got away from me even more, because if I didn't block off that time when I'm home by myself, it still goes away. It can be very good things like cleaning and returning phone calls and doing marketing and all these things, but designating writing time easily can get pushed aside when everything else comes. So definitely for me, it's always the biggest time is writing blocks.
That is so true, because writing is something that we as authors have to carve out for ourselves. Nobody's going to make us go sit down at the computer and write. And so we have to be self-disciplined. And so it's really hard when life can take over and start to dictate our life and tell us how we're going to spend our time. So learning how to block off that time is really, really key. One of the other challenges, and this is something I have, is what project is the best project to do? And how do I balance everything that I need to do and find time for everything, but also find the right time for everything? So sort of sorting through all of that can also be a challenge for me. And I'm sure you've got challenges as well. So feel free to put your challenges in the comment section. So Bonnie says, for me, it's motivation to get restarted once I fall off the wagon. Oh yeah, I hear you. And Jean says, it's time. One boy managed to steal a lot with some of his processing needs. Sure. Finding that time is really challenging. And then how about those moments where you have a blocked off time, but suddenly a child appears at your door, or a husband appears at your door, or a roommate appears at your door and says, I need you. What do you do in that moment? Sorry, go away. I don't see blood. Is the house on fire? And, that might be funny answers, but that's not necessarily what you can do. So how do you rearrange your time so you can still be creative and still answer people when they are in that place of need, right? So when I started the planner, writing the planner, I started 20 years ago. This is my planning system, and I've been doing it for 20 years. So when I started the planner, I really did it according to sort of my joy and my time and my priorities. But a few years ago, I started getting really serious about planning, and it took on a whole new way and a whole new focus. So there's 3 parts to planning. The first one is your vision. What do you want to accomplish? And there's a lot of people that start their planners with figure out, how much money you want to make this year, or what do you want to accomplish, or these sorts of things. And then there's the strategy. How do you go about accomplishing that? And then there's the tasks that support that strategy. So the daily things that you have to do. And I think that's a pretty reasonable way to plan. The problem is that how do we know what vision to start out with, right? A lot of people are like, this is what I want, but we need to go deeper than that, and we need to ask ourselves why. And that is what our planner does. It's a little bit different than other planning methods, is that we dig down and we start to ask, why is it that you have this vision? Why is it that you are pursuing that? How does your vision out here connect with who you are at your core, right? So, oh no, what's going on here? So we are very excited because this year's planner is even more streamlined and connected to people's core values and their planning needs. So as you guys know, my story is that I had cancer about 2-3 years ago. I can't remember now. It's done now, and I'm cancer free. But during that time, I had to look at my time, and I had to look at, I had a very high survival rate. So that was great. But it really made me look at my life and say, wait 1 second. Am I living my life according to my values? And that really became a change of thinking for me, where I said, I want to make sure that all my time is spent pursuing the things that I deeply care about. So those visions that I had actually came from my core values inside. But I had to just figure out what my core values were. See, as if you're a faith-based person, everybody has, sort of faith-based values, and, everybody walks around with their own set of values. But what are the values that drive you particularly as a person? What are your unique values that you have? Because everyone is different when it comes to those things that they particularly value. And nobody can tell you what your values are except for you. And so you have to go inside your soul and sort of look around and talk to yourself and figure out what are your particular values. And that is why we created a value based planning system, so that you could go inside, and we have directed questions and things like that for you to figure out how to actually go about values-based planning. Now, Terry, our project manager, really, really liked this idea when we first presented it, and she took it and ran away with this idea and did all sorts of great stuff. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Terry, and I would love for you to talk a little bit about how values-based planning affected you and changed you, and then how you brought those changes and thoughts to the planner.
Absolutely. So this was huge for me because, like you said, I was doing a lot of busy work. I was doing a lot of things in my life, but I was like, if somebody from the outside looked at my life, would they be able to tell what I really valued? How I spend my time, how I'm doing things, could they tell what was most important to me? And so as I was starting to break down these values, one thing I loved about these hexagons is the way they overlap and they show, because I feel like so many times our values are not easy, they're not just cut and dry, right? They overlap. For example, I love how they nest together. For me, writing is a value, but it doesn't, so one of my blocks, I always put writing, and then I break down what that means. But I also remember that writing isn't just a value in itself. It's also a reflection of my value of faith, because I see my writing as worship. So it falls under that category too. And so it's also, and also when I choose to make writing time, take time with my writing and make sure, like, I'm going to block this time out to writing. It's also, in a way, giving to my family, not just because I'm getting the book written, which is good, but it's also a value to my family because I know if I don't protect this writing time, it gets pulled out of other time. And usually that's evening time, which should be my family time. So when I'm thinking, and you'll talk about power blocks later, when I'm thinking about my power blocks, I often will use these hexagon ideas because I remember my writing time isn't just about my writing. It's about worship. It's about my family. It's about being faithful to many values all at once. And so a lot of times I like to look at it that way and break down, what are these core values? So I have, for me, it's often, I'm not sure, I don't have them all right here, but it's, self-care is one of them because it's also taking care of the writer God has created me to be. It's, personal growth, and different things. So then, again, self-care for me this year will have, exercise and health in it, but that's also a personal growth area for me because I'm not a lot of times my values overlap, which is one reason I love the hexagon image, because they do overlap in this picture. And I like to break down my 7 core things, and then I lay them out. Now, if you want to flip to the next page. So this is the page I break down the 7, but the next one more slide. Then I actually will take these, and then I try to say we did that this year. This is a new addition, which I love, because you can say, okay, if this is my value, if my value is faith, let me brainstorm ways that I'm going to live out my faith this year. And what does it look like? And I put in there to make sure, get back to volunteering at my church, get it back. Cause I took a small break because there's a lot going on and we were shifting churches, but I made that as a priority. And so what areas, how can I reflect my faith? And then I have a board for just relationships. And yes, I put family on there, and that's a huge section that kind of overtakes a lot of it. But I also want to I may put on there my values. What can I do to make sure I'm connecting with my MBT friends, my other writer friends, all these people that are valued relationships, that it's really easy for me for time to go by. And I realize I haven't been as intentional as I wanted to in different things. And so I love how this, it says, let's commit, how will I walk this out? And I make actual goals, and I just keep that kind of running. And then I move those over to your big goals, like you say, as quarter goals, which you're going to talk about. And then a lot of times when it shows the week, we have at the top. That's one thing I like about the colored planner this year, that I actually have, is because I do lots of color as well. And I'm not sure you can see But I actually have each color of the hexagon is a different value color in my mind. And so a lot of times we'll use those pens. So I put those in my schedule so I can say, do I have blue in there this week? Do I have purple in there this week? Am I showing my values? So as a glance, am I having a full rainbow of values this week? And is it showing up across the board? And that's how I do it, just to keep myself, just because I love this idea of living out my values, because then even if I don't get everything on my to-do list done, if I feel as though I've lived out my values this week, then I can be proud of what I did get accomplished.
Yeah, that's so great. I'm going to go back to this slide right here, and talk through some of the changes that you brought to the table when we were looking at this year. So I really love that how Terry integrates things. She is so integrated and color coordinated. It is amazing, and I super love it. I like just pick random colors, and she's like, no, we're gonna do blue for this one, and I really love that. So what we did this year is we again did our streamlined planning with my word, my verse, and then the prayer targets that Rachel Hogg taught us, which was really great. And I think that's a really powerful thing to bring in, that prayer life into your planning. And then we have our core values there at the top, on the side with the hexagons. And then Terry designed this page here, which I really love. So you have your value. We're going to put that in the center. So let's say it's writing or relationships or health, or health care, or your personal care, or maybe it's nutrition, or maybe it's house. Like I do a lot of house repairs, right? So maybe it's house repairs, or maybe it's my relationship with my husband, or maybe it's whatever it is, right? So we put that in the center, and then we go over to we're going to go over to the little light bulb, and we're going to start brainstorming ideas of how we're going to express that value, right? And so things that I could do to express that value. And then I'm going to put that on the outline, or the outside of the hexagon, the outside of the flower. And that will kind of give me a focus on what I'm doing. And then I love to go down and evaluate it, especially if it's a project that's going to cost me money or make me money. I want to know, okay, where does that fall? And so we have a little way to evaluate our I should say the values or the activities, right? And especially works for writing. And we actually have a little small class in our free courses class, or the course that comes with this, on how to do this. And basically you put in the task, and then you give it a number value, and then you total it up. And that really just helps you see which are the things that are going to fall into your priorities. It's an analytical way. So it's not as feeling driven, although there is some feeling driven because it's the joy and that sort of thing, but also it's using your head and saying which one's the easiest, what's going to bring me the most financial reward, or what's going to cost me the most, that sort of thing. So I love that analytical place. And so we kind of merged both our, sort of our organic creative side with our analytical side, and then with the side that says, this is fun. And then we have the let's commit by, and then we can write out what that value is. And I really love how that streamlines into that, so we can see how our activities relate to our values. And we have other pages inside here that help you see, like we have a values page that helps you figure out what your values are. It's this kind of cool little test that you take. And then we have a way to say, how are you living your life now? How does it express your values? Now, what if you flip that? And what if you lived a value first life? And so how would your life look like if you flip that? And so that's kind of a neat way to look at it as well. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So once we figure out that, and so thank you, Terry, for taking the time to figure that out, because we had a long, probably 2-hour brainstorm session on how we were going to make this streamline better. And Terry's like, but my brain works like this. And I'm like, yes, I get that. And I love that she brought that to the table. So well done, Terry. I think your brain probably works like a lot of people's brains. And my brain also works like that. I just couldn't articulate it. So I really appreciate it. This is really so much this year a project of so many minds, because we actually took a lot of feedback from people, and we're continuing to take feedback. And we really appreciate how many people are invested invested in the planner. They've used it every year since we've had it, and people continue to say, could you do this? Could you do that? And so we're now taking notes for 2023. So always your ideas are something that we factor in. So, but I really love that we kind of streamlined the values section this year. So then we moved to, okay, let's talk about publishing strategy, because as writers, we need to have a strategy, right? So we talk through like how often you write, how many words you write, what you enjoy writing, what works for you for a genre, what didn't work, what are the trends that are happening, what could you do to expand your writing, your what you're writing right now, what other things could you do? And so there's this kind of cool plan that we walk you through once you have all your values in place. And then we have you create some big goals, and we have big goals, and you can, we leave that blank for you to figure out what value you're using for your big goals. But we have, you write down your big goals. And then the key to getting big goals done in a year is to break them down into bite-sized sections. So we have you break those goals down into quarterly goals so that you can kind of see, okay, this month, if your plan is to build a website, you're not going to build it in 1 week. Probably not. You might take some time to do it. So you might have different activities or different sections of your month is going to be spent on different things. And maybe it's going to take you 3 months. So you're going to build the front page and then the books page and then the blog or whatever it is, right? So you're going to break it down into different sections. And this is how your plan becomes personalized to you. It's your values expressed your way, your strategy based on who you are, what you write, what you're, all the things that you love to do. And then you create your goals and you separate them into your quarters, and everybody has their own system. But what you're doing is you're looking at, so this is just another look at the publishing strategy. This is kind of up close, but everybody has sort of their own way to do things. And then what we ask you to do is write yourself a letter. So I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I thought, oh, this would be a great thing to incorporate into the planner, because what I love is to write myself a letter at the beginning of the year talking about what I learned last year, what my hopes and dreams are for this year, what my values are and why, what I'd like to accomplish, and kind of an encouragement letter as well, so I can kind of look back and see what happens. But I love it at the end of the year because I look back and I say, oh, this is what I said to myself, and this is how I've grown. And it's kind of let's just say a yearly journal that I can kind of look back on. So we incorporated that into the planner this year if you want to do it. And it is kind of a fun exercise. It's kind of like writing a letter to yourself in the future, right? So that's kind of a fun thing. And then come all the tricks and tips. So we have classes on all of these. And I love that Terry, again, streamlined this a little bit more. And Lisa Jordan also works very closely with Terry and I on all of this. And we kind of worked on this together. So some of this stuff is mine, some of it's Terry, some of it Lisa's. And a lot of it is your ideas as well. And so we appreciate that. So we have our habit stacking sheet, which is really important. And if you haven't done habit stacking, I would encourage you to try it, because it's really helpful in just leaving yourself brain space and yet getting a lot of stuff done. There is a class on that. Then we have our words written. And I love this because last year we had all these cute little icons and they're really adorable, but sometimes you just want to color it in, right? I bet Terry has a lot of colors in hers. So I would just be like check marks. But then what happens is that you can kind of count your word count. And the neat thing about this is you can add up your word count at the end of the year, which is kind of nice. Add in, you're like, I wrote, 60,000 words this year or whatever, or not 600,000 words this year or whatever it is, right? And then finally is a time template. And the time template is a really cool tool that we have taught at My Book Therapy a lot, because this is how this was the core of my planning system. And the time template is basically your weekly template on how you're going to get stuff done, because every day looks different. And writers need chunks of time in order to focus on things. And so this is where I'm going to launch into my speech about how people that multitask are miraculous to me, because I am not a multitasker. In fact, if I try to multitask, I multi-fail. I can't get stuff done. So I'm a one at a time tasker. I do a lot of stuff, but I focus one at a time on things. And I think I recently read a book about ADHD people and how, and I think I might have a touch of that after looking at this book. I never thought I did, but I am not a person that can do a lot of things at once. I have to have one block at a time. And so for me, I created this system called time blocks. And basically the concept is that you assign one focused activity per block of time. And so my time blocks are, so like, for example, Terry came up with a really good updated one. So like, Monday morning could be personal time to organize thing. And then you might spend Monday. So I usually have 3 to 4 time blocks in my day. I have a morning time, I have an early afternoon, I have an early, late afternoon, and I have an early evening. And so, but you may have 2 morning blocks and 2 afternoon blocks. And then there's a space in the evening if you want to add in another one. It just depends on how you want to do it. Thanks, Mandy. She says she's planned her life in chunks for years. And so, yeah, I think a lot of people have. And so what happens is that it allows me to invest in that person, in that particular block in whatever it is I'm doing. Now, the key is that you got to have a couple of free blocks, like personal blocks. And that way, if something happens and your husband runs in and says, I need you to do this for me right now, or your child suddenly forgets his football gear at home and you have to take an hour to go drive to school to bring it there, your life is not wrecked because you just take that family events time, or you take one of your, help the kids block and you insert it into your personal block. And then you take that, writing block 1 that it was used up during that time, and you move it over into this. And so it's kind of like you play Legos, or those old games where they had the little blocks that shifted around, the little puzzles. That's kind of what you're doing, right? It's like you're figuring out where you can move stuff around so you can still get stuff done, and you haven't lost your focus. You're just inserting something else in that time. And as long as you have a little free space in your week to be able to move stuff around, and then if you get to the end of the week and you have accomplished all your blocks and nobody's come in with their hair on fire or needing football gear or whatever, you can write during that personal time, or get a massage during that personal time, or I don't know. Or Mary says, or sorry, kid, you should have thought ahead. Mom is ready. Yes, I have done that too. So, but, and so this concept of time blocks has been really helpful for me, because I've been able to, what I can do is I can plan out my week, and I have what I call a time template. So I know kind of what I'm doing every week. So for example, Fridays are my appointments day. So if I have a doctor's appointment, it goes on Friday. So when I'm at the doctor and they say, when would you like to go? I say, Friday at 1 sounds good to me, or whatever it is. And so time blocks give you that sense of, I'm getting stuff done. I know how much time I'm spending on my writing, because the weekly time template helps you add up the hours you spend on different activities. And then it allows you room to do the things that you need to do, even with life's interruptions. We do have a class on that. And so if you want to go deeper, I would encourage you to do that. But the power block planning has really changed my life. What do you think about the power block planning, Terry?
I do like this because, like you said, things easily will take up our time if we do not kind of block that time out. And I know, honestly, it's almost more for myself than anything else, of saying, you know what, this is the next hour of writing time. And I'm going to go in. And for me, I actually have a different place I write than this desk, because this desk is full of messages and notes and work and marketing and all these things I need to do that are good things to do, but I go someplace else with my laptop and I block out my writing time, because I do think it's good. But I do like having that flexibility. One thing that I find, and again, this is, I don't know why, but I actually like to sometimes, for my personal, if I have extra time, I let myself write on a different story. Because like I have all these other ideas in my head, and I'm like, no, I have to finish the story. But on Fridays, I'm like, got all my writing blocks done. I get to write on a completely different story, and it's like free writing. And who knows if anything will happen to that? But it kind of frees up some creativity too. So that's something to think about. What else you can do besides just cleaning? It kind of makes it a reward or different things. So I like keeping this in my mind, because it helps me get more accomplished when I'm able to do it this way.
Yeah. One thing that's helped me is that, but when I sit down to plan a book, I look at my writing blocks and I say, okay, how much can I accomplish in a week? And if I have to meet a deadline and maybe I don't have enough writing blocks, I can move stuff around, and I can be like, okay, I have to work this Saturday or whatever. But a lot of the time I have more time than I need, which is great, because I can I can add more time in if I want. But what helps me do it is I say, okay, today, this is how much I need to write. I only need to write this in this in this writing block. I don't have to panic because I know I'm going to show up for this writing block and this writing block and this writing block. So I just have to write this, and it keeps my brain from exploding when I have to write a 100,000 word book in 2 months. I go, don't worry, Susie, you're going to show up. You're going to do this much right here, and then you're going to do that much there. And it just kind of helps me. It helps me keep my deadlines, but it also helps me from fearing that I have to eat the elephant in one bite, right? Because that can be overwhelming.
And somebody had mentioned earlier that one of their struggles with writing was getting started again after you've stopped. And I honestly, writing blocks is one of those things that helps me get started, because I think, you know what, I'm just going to do a 2-hour writing block. It doesn't matter how much I get written today or how little. I'm going to sit down and spend these time with my characters. And it can be terrible writing, but I'm going to carve it out. And when you just are disciplined to carving it out, that elephant slowly stands and he slowly starts walking through the mud until you get to the point where you're on track again. And so if you can designate that time, then yes, it's a lot of times can help you also get back on track once you've kind of gotten off your story.
I love that you used my elephant analogy. I often say that writing a book is like the first few chapters is like dragging an elephant on his backside down a dirt road, and he's like, I don't want to go. And then slowly, like chapter 4, he starts to get up, and then chapter 5, he's sort of like slowly, reluctantly walking. And by the time you get to chapter 12, he's like running, and you're like running ahead of him to try to keep up, you know. So that's how writing feels like for me sometimes, although sometimes the elephant does sit down in chapter 13. So, but hopefully not. So yeah, so writing blocks does help for that too, because you're like, okay, I know I have this to do. I have to show up for this, and I'm just going to show up and do the work, and see if the elephant moves, and often hear that. So that's good. I love that. All right, so this is what Terry was showing you earlier, and I have a color picture in coming up so you can kind of see it. But basically, this is how you get your stuff done. So you've written out all of your values, you've written out your plans for the year, and then what you do is you put your values up at the top. So the values it goes in the categories of your life, so to speak, go up on top, and then you have your tasks that you need to accomplish below that. So these are the tasks for the week for your different values. And then we have in the top section your daily priorities. So these are I have a writing goal at the top, and then I guess it's over here, writing goal at the top, and then it's over here. So writing goal at the top, and then this way, and then the daily priorities are the things that need to get done no matter what. And they might not be things that go in your power blocks. It might be take out the trash, call the doctor, and write a check to the school for food service or something. These are like the 3 things that you must do, and you can assign them to your power blocks, like in a little sort of admin section if you want. But now you take your tasks from up above and you assign them to the power blocks throughout your whole week, so you know when you're going to do the different things that you're going to do. And what that does is that it takes the panic away. You've now assigned everything. You know you're going to show up and do it. Second of all, if you have too overscheduled, because you might not be able to do all those things. You might not have enough power blocks. And then you need to say, well, what's most important? What do I have to get done this week? And you might say, okay, these other things I'm going to move over here to my personal day, or I'm going to move over here to next week, or I'm going to make them a priority on Saturday, or whatever it is. But suddenly you can see at a glance whether or not you have time to do all the things you want, and you can start to prioritize those things. But by assigning them to your power blocks, you're able to then assign yourself a week that looks fairly normal, that's not frantic, and you know what you're doing every day. So thanks, Tracy. You're the best. By the way, if you do go and order a plan right now, there is a discount built in right now for the first 48 hours. So you don't need a code or anything. You can go right now and get your planner, and it's a 25% discount on all products in the store. So we did that so that anyone that wanted to, like Tracy, thank you so much, wanted to go buy your planner, you already have your discount. It's only for the next 48 hours though. So good job, Trace. All right. So this is the working plan, but we also have an inspiration page. And this is really important to me, because for every morning I start my morning with what I call miracle morning. And I do talk about this in the in the classes, in the course, but it's a way for me to just center my thoughts on the right thing. And it doesn't, whatever you do with your morning to start your inspiration. Now, of course, I read the Bible, and I read Jesus Calling, and I read Oswald Chambers. Those are my three things. I figure Oswald and Jesus and Sarah Young sort of balance each other out a little bit. And so, but this is what I do. And then I have like notes and inspired thoughts over on the other side. And then I have my prayers and stuff. And it just gets my brain kind of moving in the right direction and gets my thoughts centered. And then I can pray over things. And so, but we just left that kind of open. And so every week has a 2-page spread. It starts actually with these inspiration pages, and then you turn the next page and it's your weekly spread. So you're really only interacting with 2 pages throughout the whole week. And one is sort of like a journal, and one is your spread. And the reason I like this is because I don't like having a lot of stuff to carry around. I like one book per year. It's a big book. And so this is mine for next year. And my other one, unfortunately, is in the other room. But I have one book, and in here I keep all my notes for everything. If I have a meeting, I put them in here. If I have ideas, I put them in here. And we'll get to that in a second. But the inspiration, just helps me focus. And so I can kind of look back and say, what was I thinking this week while I was doing these things? And it really helps me to just kind of see how my year went. And I can even look at the beginning of the year and see how my thoughts have changed over the course of the year. So I really love this section of inspiration. And I know you kind of use yours a little differently. Do you use yours differently, Terry?
I do. I do, because I keep a separate journal. Like actually, no, I can't do it. Figure it out. But these are all like journals from years to years. I love journaling. And so I have a lot. But what I end up using the daily inspiration page is writing out scripture, because I like the practice of writing out scripture, but I don't need journals full of writing out scripture, because I have my Bible. So it's a good place to write the scripture, and I just have it here to focus on for the week. And I feel like it's just kind of, I just enjoy it. And then a lot of times I'll journal, because I know you keep your planners from year to year, and I'm the cleaner outer who's like, I literally was like, the other day was like, old planners. I just found a whole bunch of them, and I was like, recycling. Because I'm like, start a new life. I know we're very different in that way. I'm like, fresh start, and you're like, keep it. So
I probably should be more like you. I have my planners for like, seriously, 20 years. I can look back and see what I've done. I don't know. I'm weird that way.
I got rid of one I had kept from 20 years ago. I finally got rid of this last week. But yeah, so I do like having my journal separate. And then, but this allows me to use scripture, still have that focus, still right there. So I do enjoy it. That's how I use this particular section.
Yes. I really love that there was a couple of comments about how other people were using their planners. One was the whole, like one did a Bible study, and Penny does her huddle requests. And so I think that's really fantastic. So, it just depends on how you like to use it, but we just like to leave that there. I mean, you could even jot, ideas for stories there or whatever. So, all right. And then finally we have, so that's great. And I love everybody's idea. Mary says, is the price online the 25% discount rate? It should,
I don't know if it will add it at checkout, or if it will add it. It
depends on the covers. So, we'll talk about the covers and stuff in just a second. All right. So finally, we have a sacred rest assessment, because we really feel like it's really important to think about your sacred rest and where you're not taking care of yourself. And so we have that as well. And that's really important. It's something you should do actually quite a few times over the year. And then finally, we have each month, we end with a thoughtful analysis. So we have a monthly review. I love the books I read, changes for next month, what I'm grateful for, best and worst. We just really simplified it. And then we had monthly reflections and notes. So simplified this a lot, but I really love just taking a moment at the end of the month and just kind of thinking through your month. And just really helps with just kind of organizing your thoughts. And then we have a blank page after that for more notes. So, and then this is the best part about the planner, I think. It's our story planning pages. We have in the back of every planner two sections of pages, enough to craft a novel with 2 POVs. So if you have a novel, so what am I trying to say? You can craft 2 novels in the story crafting planner with the pages that we have in the back. So 2 novels with 2 POVs. So if you have one novel that has 4 POVs, you could do one novel. Otherwise, you could do 2 novels. And what we've done is we have the pages that we use for the story equation. So we have our SEQs, we have 2 of those. We have our story crafting worksheet. We have a rough story plot, and we have notes. So if you're writing 2 books a year, you could plot your whole book in this planner, and there's a lot of places for you to keep notes. And I did that. I love these little sheets here because then, first of all, I know where they are. I don't know about you guys, but I lose my story crafting planner sheets if I don't have them somewhere. So I put them in here, and I could put all my other ones in here too. So I actually end up at the end of the year with like 6 of these in my planner, but at least I know where they are, right? But I always start with the 2 that are in there. So I really love these. I feel like there's something that has enhanced the planner for me because it keeps all of my story ideas together and made it a really valuable place to keep things. So Terry, I know you use these, but you also you have a planner on your tablet, I think.
I do. I actually bought I put the PDF on my my Good Notes planner. You can pull it right up on your Good Notes planner, and then I write it. So it comes up as a PDF. Then I can write the answers, which I like because I'm always changing things.
Yeah.
So I can erase it and write it in there. And then I can print it right from my Good Notes too when I'm like solid, and then I put it on the wall.
And that's a good idea too. If you enjoy your tablet, you can put the PDF on. There's a PDF planner that you can put on the tablet. All right. So finally, there's a free course with every planner. So there's 14 quick start lessons from discovering unique business personality to creating your action plan. We also have 4 classes on launching your career, blogging basics, websites, marketing basics, and deep work and focus. And then finally, this year we've added plotting 101, story crafting 911, which is like fixing your plot, 7 secrets to deepening your characters, and first chapter basics. So lots of really, really great stuff for you to really launch your writing career. So, and this course is $347 normally, and we do have people that purchase it without getting the planner. And I'm like, why don't you just get the planner? So it's so much cheaper. Just get the planner. But every year we have a handful of people that just purchase the course. And I'm like, that's great. I actually reach out to them often and say, would you like a planner? And they're like, no, we use a different planner. We just want the course. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, but yeah, so you get this free. It's $347. Normally retails, but when you get the planner, you get a coupon code inside the planner so you can access the course. All right. So what we have tonight is something sort of fun. She says Dylan says doesn't see an option for the website for the PDF.
I'll look at that in just a minute. Okay, I'll have an answer when I come back.
Okay. So we're going to jump on right now, and we have some folks here tonight that are going to share with you their covers for their planner and sort of what they like about the planner, and then the unique twist that they have on the planner. So Terry, I'm going to replace you with the amazing Rachel Hauk. We're so excited to have Rachel here. She's a New York Times bestselling author. Woo! And she's one of the original founders of My Book Therapy, and we taught together for a long, long time. And Rachel is an amazing novelist. She is a hybrid author. She has published indie. She's a very, very prolific traditional author as well. She's working on a couple of amazing projects. She's had a movie done. She's got another one optioned. Rachel's just, a superstar. So we're excited to have her here tonight. Yay! And
hi, everybody.
Rachel wasn't necessarily a planner, and she's sort of started to become a planner she was a planner, but she didn't necessarily use the planner. And so she gave us lots of ideas on what we could do to fix it. And I appreciated that so much.
I don't think you took any of them.
Oh, we did. We have your prayer targets.
Oh, my prayer targets. Definitely.
We put the page for notes in the back. Remember, you wanted a blank page for notes. We put that in. That's all you.
You did. And the spiral bound. Yes.
Yes.
So here's mine, everybody.
Yep. So Rachel has the hexagon cover, which is such a cute cover. And she's got the spiral bound, the small spiral bound, which is really fun. So Rach, what do you like about your planner?
Okay, you guys, I am super, super simplistic. So I'm going to be the bare bones. If you're out there going, I don't know, meet bare bones. She's right here. Mostly because my life is pretty simple. I don't have children, and I don't have a business on the side other than writing. So while I do have responsibilities at church, they're in those blocks of time. So I know what those blocks of time are. So, and I just want to say hi, Jean Takanaka. So, and hi, Tracy Bateman, if you're still here. Tracy, Susie, and I go way, 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 way back.
We do. Yes,
but
we do.
For me, and Susie knows this, is because I'm always saying, I need this. This is what I love, you guys. So for me, this is the number one beauty of the calendar for me. I love, 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 because I can look at it and I write, like, these are my goals. So I write in these my goals for writing. So all of my writing goals are actually in here. So that's how I know. And what I have to get accomplished. And so then I plan out, if I have a deadline, I plan it all out, like how many words I have to write, when am I going to be on vacation, when I'm going to take a break, when is it makeup days, if because things come up and that we don't plan on. So and I know for me, I start writing by noon every day. So I know I have these big blocks. They're all in my head. Okay, I'm just going to confess. They're all in my head. I know what my big blocks are. I get up, I pray, I go to the gym, I go to breakfast, I come home and I start writing. I get cleaned up and start writing. So anyway, that's my big thing. And I love this in the back too. This is super cool. I love this. I love using this. And you guys can see I already have planning on the background with the big sticky notes that we use, the deep thinkers. So but this is super helpful if you don't want to write in it, because this is kind of, for me, because I have the smaller one, it's a little small, but you can use this to put on a big sticky note.
Yep, as a guide.
And those are over there.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So anyway.
Yes. Well, thank
brilliant.
you, Rachel. I appreciate you showing us how to use it. And she does use her planner. I go over there and her planner's out and she uses it.
No,
she
I do
writes other
use
things in it. She's got notes that she writes in it and all sorts of stuff. So yes. And so we appreciate Rachel, the bare bones planner.
And the bare bones but I do recommend it, you guys, because even though you may be a bare boneser like me, this is super helpful as well. Blocking off your time just so you know. Yeah. And for most writers, what happens is our time gets away from us. So I really encourage you guys to get it and at least start. I think Joy said something about using it little by little. She's going to use it more this year than last year. So I can really relate to that. So it help you make sure that you are getting the stuff done that you need to get done, especially if you have other responsibilities, a job or children or whatever. So good job, Suze. This is a brilliant idea.
Thank you, Rach. I appreciate you. All right. Thanks so much for being here tonight. All right. So if you are a Barron's Boneser, that's how you could use it. And, and I often will keep notes just outside. I'll just date them and put them inside the journal. So again, I've got it all in one place. I never lose it. All right. So next up, I want to invite the amazing Beth Vogt. Now, I have known Beth for years and years and years, and she was at our very first Story Crafters retreat, and I've seen her blossom into this amazing novelist. She writes contemporary fiction. Now she's our contemporary romance. Now she's writing women's fiction, which is so fantastic. And a little bird told me she's got a Christmas novella coming out this year. So excited about that. So we're very excited to have you on board, Beth. And so tell us a little bit about your planner and how you use it. You got the typewriter planner with the spiral bound and the big one. You got the big one.
I love this.
Cool.
I love this cover. I love My Story Matters. I love that reminder. And if Rachel is bare bones, I would say I'm the wader when it comes in, like wading into the water a little bit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, I started with, let me just fill in my weeks. And now I want to take it, like last year, I got all into the values because, we like to discover our characters' values, right? Because then we understand them more. But if we take the time to really look at our values, then we will do better at planning our time and using our time wisely. I was all over that last year. And so sometimes when we get into this wonderful planner, we may not use everything. I saw some people commenting on that, but that's okay. Use what you can use each year, do a little bit more. And as I was listening to you talk about this planner this year, I remember why I love My Book Therapy so much. This is classic My Book Therapy. It's all about encouraging writers, supporting writers in practical ways. I mean, you call this a planner, but really you're lying because you've got video helps and you're encouraging people practically. I mean, it's so much more than a planner. And it just reminded me about how you help writers, but you also encourage people in their faith. And it's just so much more than a planner. And so, but if you open it up and you go, I don't know if I can do all that, do what you can the first year, and then do a little bit more the next year. And that's what I've learned. So Rachel is bare bones, and I'm the waiter.
I love that. I love that. And I totally agree. Like, I've been doing this system for 20 years. So I know all the moving parts and stuff like that. And I think that for me, my biggest challenge is to actually sit down and say, Susie, get a cup of coffee, do your month-end analysis. I know you're busy, but you're going to thank me when you get done. And so then Susie sits down and she obeys Susie and she does it. And she thinks, that was great. Now I can think about, I thought about my month and now I can think about it. And I really feel like there's like moments where we're like, we just have to breathe and go, yes, that's what I want. This is how I'm going to do it differently or whatever. And the waiting in is great because they sort of assimilate the things you need at the time. And then you learn a new skill and a new skill. And not all of these things are going to work for everyone, right? Everybody is different, right? These are just tools and ways to organize it. So you really got to own it for yourself. And yet, like Beth said, she just waded in and she's like, okay, I'm going to use this. And now I'm going to use this. And that's fantastic.
You're establishing habits. Yes. And I will say, I love the quotes.
Yes, we do have. This is Beth's thing. If you know Beth, she does quotes. And so, yes, we have a lot of quotes this year, just inspirational, fun things.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Beth. I appreciate you being here tonight. All right. So next up is the amazing Elena Terrainian. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Elena. Elena is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. I don't know how she does it all, actually, you guys. You think I work hard. This woman, superwoman, works so hard. She helps run her business. She practically runs the business. And she's got tons of employees. She's got 4 amazing children. She's a grandma, and she's a much more hands-on grandma than I am. And she's also an aspiring author. And she works at it, you guys. And she's got an amazing series. I really can't wait till it gets published because it's going to blow your socks off. It's so fantastic. She does have an agent. She's working it. And I'm so proud of her. She works so hard. She's also one of the kindest people I know. And because I've been under her, care, shall I say. She used to run our hospitality at My Book Therapy. And I'm telling you, I just don't think I would have made it if Elena hadn't been there. So I'm just so proud of you, Elena, but so excited to have you on here today. So tell us, superwoman that I aspire to be someday, how do you manage all the stuff that you do? And does the planner help at all? And how do you use the planner?
Well, thanks for all of that. And stuff was falling through the cracks because I manage our main business. I manage a rental business, and we have an Airbnb. Plus I have the kids, 2 of which still live with me. So you think you can close the door or you get interruptions with a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old. I have to say the 19-year-old and a 22-year-old could be just as bad, just so you know. This planner right here, this is the one that I got, y'all.
Oh, you got the striped one.
Yes,
ooh, that's cool.
It. And it's big because I write a lot. And I want to say, so I do the scuba diving, not in real life like Susie and my husband, but I did the scuba diving in this. Every year I come to the office, I block off the whole Saturday, and I do the class. I pause it, I answer the questions, I pray about it, and I do the whole thing because it helps recenter me to get stuff done for the years. Because before I would feel like, what did I accomplish? God, did I just mess up my whole year because I didn't take the time? So this helps me plan and focus based on my values and what's really important to me before life happens, right? Because life happens, right?
Yeah.
And so my favorite part is...
you got the color planner too. Whoa.
So this is my favorite part right here, this whole daily thing, because right here is, now I love the color and I'll probably change it up this year, but over here I would put each business. And then I would put the top 3 things that I'd have to do. And every day that would hold me accountable would be this right here. That word count. I'd be like, oh, I didn't get to it today, but I would try. And I love the habit stacking and blocks of time. It helps me focus more because I'm not good at multitasking. I can get it done. Something's going to spill though if I try to multitask. So this right here, this is the stuff right here.
Yes. Oh, that's really great. I'm so glad. I love that you take the time to do the planning because I really feel like that's so key. When I was in my early days, I had business advice from someone and he said to me, take the time, go away for like 3 days and just pray about your year and your business and all that kind of stuff. And I'm a mom. I don't have 3 days, but I could probably get like maybe 4 to 6 hours or maybe a whole day if I say, please don't bother me, here are some donuts, or whatever, right? And then I feel like I've taken time for myself to think through my year and what matters to me and planning it out. I love that you do that because I totally see that reflected in your life because every time I talk to you, you've got so many moving parts, but you're so calm. And so it's amazing to me. And I think it's because you take time to think through what matters to you. And I have to say, you live by your values so much. So does Beth and Rachel. You guys really live by your values, and I really appreciate that. It's really inspired me to live by my values too. So that's so great. So thank you so much for being here and for that encouragement. That's awesome. All right. And finally, next we have the amazing Lisa Jordan. And you guys know her as our sort of our welcome person for my book therapy. She's the Dean of Students at Novel Academy. She keeps our chats running. She really just runs everything, guys. And it's just so fantastic. Lisa is a multi-published award-winning author. I don't even know how many books she has now, but she writes 9 books. She writes family sagas. They're beautiful stories. And I just love Lisa's stories. They're just like her spirit, just sweet and wonderful and welcoming. And so I'm so excited that you're here. Lisa's also, one of her hidden talents is she's very, very creative, you guys. She does this stamping stuff and she knows how to put together beautiful cards and things like that. So we really had to I'm sort of like businessy and Terry's all about the colors, but Lisa, she's all about the pretty and the fancy. So, we appreciate Lisa. We have a cover just for Lisa and for people like her. So Lisa, thanks for being here tonight. What is it about the planner that you like? And of course, the beautiful stuff was, you guys, she designed the planner. In early days, Lisa designed the planner. Just full credit goes there. And so I gave her these messy sheets of paper and she would come up with these amazing pages. So really the design really started with Lisa. So we thank you for that. But what do you love about the planner? And how have you tweaked it for your own use?
Okay, well, first of all, if you look behind me, all the color, that's my stamping station. And those are stacks of paper, so I love color. So I got the whimsy, and it just speaks to my heart because my office is done in aqua and white and then polka dots. And I just love color. I love bright and cheery. And but these are soothing colors. They're happy, but they soothe my Enneagram 9 peacemaker soul. So I love the color. And then I also got the color interior. Because when Terry did her values-based planning, I loved it. I fell in love with her style of separating it out by color. And so I loved that. And so this really speaks to me a lot. One thing I love about the planner is how far we've come. You guys don't laugh, or you can laugh. It's okay. Our first planner was designed in PicMonkey. Now we are in InDesign. We have come a long way, baby. But when you take a Post-it note with a scribble and you have a limited amount of knowledge, everything I've learned about Photoshop, I've learned through the amazing Terry. But now that Terry has taken over the planner, she has just given it the full professional polish. Yeah. And our beginning planners were great. Yes. The more you know, the better you'll grow, Right. And so we did the best we could at that time. So anyway, I just love how polished it looks. Yeah. I love the way that Terry is able to put her own streamlining in it. Excuse me. I love the way that we can just start at the beginning. And if you feel overwhelmed, please take the classes because you start from A and you go to Z right in order. And so I love that. But what I love most about this planner, like Elena, all right, if they were going to give themselves labels, I'm going to call myself the juggler. because I have to juggle a bunch of things. Up until a couple months ago, I was working 2 jobs and writing and being household manager. But I, like Elena, I like the 2-page spread. However, I do the values section. I believe in values and living by my values. However, for the power blocks, I don't block them off the way that you do. I have 3 blocks. My first one is home and family. My second one is MBT. And my third one is writing. And they're not hours, you know, it just lets me know by going through my values, am I getting everything done? Because I do have to juggle a lot of time. You know, I mean,
it's good.
I'm like my mother is not decrepit by any means. She's amazing, but I help my mom out. I help my sister out. I have my family. I'm a grandma too, a Mimi. And I have 2 dogs that are now like toddlers. So it's like having my daycare open all over again. But that helps me to streamline my home life. And then after lunch, well, about noon, I turn off that brain and I go in, my writing life. And then I turn off my writing brain and I go into my MBT world. Yeah. And then after MBT, then it's my family and my home and all of that. Excuse me. So I just have to know how I use my power blocks to fit my life. Yeah. And, you know, and for those of you who have a job, you need to, do what works best for you. Susie has this amazing method and I aspire to be that. But right now I have to streamline it to what works for me.
I think that that's the key though, Lise. You got to streamline, you got to do what works for you. This is just a tool, right? And the tool is to just help you organize your thoughts and live focused according to your values. And then look at all of the things you need to do and how you're going to get it accomplished. And you get it accomplished by assigning 1 block per focus, right? And I think that's fantastic. And then you probably have the to-dos of what you need to do up above. Yep. And so now you just go there and you say, well, this is my family time. Here's what I'm going to do, right? And I think that's a great way to do it. And so, like, for example, in the section for food, the food log, I don't plan out what I'm doing every day. I use that as my food log. I write down what I ate. And so I can just kind of keep track of it. A lot of people plan out ahead of time. Some people use it as a grocery list. You know, it just depends on what you want to do. So I really think that's fabulous that you've kind of designed it for you. And that's the point. So that's fantastic.
And the one thing I do love about this size is it fits in my quiet time basket.
It does.
So
that's
when
awesome.
I sit down to breakfast, I grab my basket and my planner's there. So I can start my whole day in one basket.
Wow, that's really cool. Mine is, I have to lug mine around, but I like it because I always feel like I have a big hardcover planner for my big hardcover life. So
you have an amazing life. And you have a light bulb because you are the light bulb for all of us.
Right. Well, I don't know, but this is kind of like my brain works. I'll be like, oh. So anyway, yes, that's great. Well, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you being here. And we just appreciate all you do for my book therapy. And thank you for working it out and pick monkey in those early days. We do appreciate that.
Sad days.
Yeah, it's great. All right. And so our final guest tonight is back around to the amazing Terry Ferris, who is the product manager and has really, really taken the planner and done such amazing work with it. Terry is also a multi-published author. She's an amazing author. I love her. Her heritage, what's it called? Restoring Heritage series. Yeah. So if you haven't picked that up, you should. Your most recent book just came out, right?
Yes, September 7th.
September 7th, yes. And she's working on some other cool stuff. And I'm just so proud of all you've done, but really so amazed. I say to Terry, can you do this? And she's like, I'm like, can you figure out InDesign? Sure. And suddenly she is the master of InDesign. It is amazing to me. So, but Terry, you kind of told us a little bit about how you use the planner. Show us your planner. And can you give us any thoughts on tweaks that you've done or your favorite part?
Yeah. So I love the fact that we've all picked up this swimming analogy, even though we hadn't planned on that. So if I had to assign myself a planner identity, it would be a Sunday swimmer. And I go to the pool on Sunday, I dive in deep, I get it all ready up for the week, and I then plan the week, but then so I'll just show you. So I definitely was at the beginning of the month. I love this. This is, of course, this last year's planner because it's one that but it's all filled out according to color. And then I I pull it over into the week, and I have my values up top with the colors, and then I bring them down. Now, a lot of times I go into detail on Sunday exactly what my plan is for the week. And then one thing I've started recently doing, which we may, if there's interest, offer these things, is that I take it on, keep it right there in front of me, because a lot of times my desk is piled, and I keep a clipboard right in front of me. So this one I actually will make notes down all week and keep them, comparing them, because that's how I Sundays for my guests. But so this is the one
you
I got.
have the bare bones one.
I do. I have the bare bones one. We actually developed this one this year for people who like things simpler, or we've had a few men who like the planner, but we've had the flowery ones that they didn't necessarily want. So we decided to do a simpler one, and you can the colors also. It doesn't have the full rainbow Roy G. Biv. It has blues and browns tones inside, which I was really excited because I love blue. It's harder to see on the camera, but it's there. And then it also, one thing this one that we changed since this one is we also made all the scripty font. There's no scripty font in this one. We changed them all to the more simple
straight
font.
Up font. Yeah, so like a man can have it without feeling like he's been turned into a girl.
That's right. So I love it. I love that it's yeah, I also love the smooth cover of the bound planner. So yeah, I guess that's how I tend to dive in Sunday, just really break apart my planner, and then I just keep little bits of it in front of me all week as I break things down.
Wow, that's cool.
I also wanted to make note that the PDF, people were looking for the PDF, it is now live in the store. So if you're looking for it, I fixed that. As well as the discount, it is now active. It was not active on Mountain Time, but those of you who already ordered, I will go ahead and refund the discount amount. I'll figure that out, and so that you guys will have gotten the discount. There's about 5 people who had ordered already, and so don't worry, you will still get your discount.
All right, so that is fantastic. So I wanted to show you guys, these are some of the looks of the colored pages. So this isn't the one on the blue planner. The blue planner is just brown and blue with a little bit of yellow for the light bulb. But these are the colored pages if you want. Now this is optional. You don't have to have this if you don't want to. But it is kind of cool. And like Terry said, you can align your goals to your values to the colors on the sections. And so that's really great. We do have a very cool values class that Terry has taught in our course. And so I teach a shorter one, and then she dives in and she teaches the streamlined one. And I think it would be, if you want to really, really dive into it, that's a great class to take. All right. So you can right now. So here's what you do. You go to the mybrilliantwritingplanner.com and you select your cover. So we have all sorts of different covers, and you can see all of them there. Then you select your size. So you have a hardcover, you have a soft cover that's more like a novel size. You have the hardcover is big, it's 8.5 by 11, so it's a big one. Then the soft cover is more like Terry's size there. It looks like a novel, like a trade novel. And then you have a spiral bound of that size, and then you have a spiral bound of the 8.5 so the spiral bound of the small size, and then you have a spiral bound of the large size, right? So you have 2 different sizes, and you have 2 different types, spiral or bound. And so you pick the size that you want, you pick the type that you want, and then you put that into the checkout, and the discount should already be there. Now the discount's only for 2 days, guys, 48 hours as we launch the planner. And so I encourage you to get that. If you want a planner, I encourage you to get it now. Now, because these are custom, it takes a little bit longer to get them printed because they are custom made. However, you in your email, which you'll get shortly after, you get a confirmation email from the store that says you got it. So you got to keep that, or you'll have that. But then also you'll get an email from My Book Therapy that has your that has a quick start planner in it. So if you want to get started right away with your planning, it has a PDF in there and of the kind of the beginning pages, and you can download that and you can start writing it out. And if you're like me, you might be somebody that likes to write and then transfer it later on when you get your planner. Some people like to fiddle around with stuff and they don't want to have to scratch out things or whatever you want to do, but you do get that right away. So you can get started with your planning right away if you'd like. And for people like Elena that take a whole day to plan and stuff, that's great. Or maybe there's other people that like to trickle plan, plan this day or then this section and this section and this section. You can do that too. When you get your planner, on the inside front cover is your code to get into the class. So I think we also send it out we do have a special link in when we send out your planner. So if you want to get started right away, you can just wait for that email. Otherwise, if you want to wait, it's in the inside of your cover. So just take a look at that when you get it and you'll be able to go in and access your free course. So look for the emails and wait, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead,
So I was just say the course won't be available till tomorrow starting. So yes. Also, Mary asked about tabs. We are unable to do tabs through the book we print with, but I did buy some ones through. You can just buy basic tabs that you can stick on, which is what it's easy to do.
Yeah, it's really easy to do. It is, and it ends up being cheaper for you guys because adding tabs is really, really expensive. So we decided to pass on the savings, and not everybody likes tabs. I'm not a tab person, so we figured, yes. So Delana says, I wonder if you could put the PDF in Pages and hyperlink it and then stick it in my good notes. Yes, I think you can do that, right, Terry?
It's a lot more time for us to do that if we put the PDF in Pages and then hyperlink it. It's a lot more time consuming than you would expect, and we did that in the past. We would consider it again in the future if there's a large demand for it, but there was not. So that's what.
I thought maybe she could just do it herself if she downloaded the PDF. So apparently not.
I don't think she can add like hyperlinks there.
Right. But you can download the PDF and put it in your good notes or whatever it's called and work on it from there. So yes. The undated planner is available in all the covers and sizes, right?
Yes. So when you select the cover you want, all the planners will have then the option to choose what size and binding you want. So you have 4 options. Then it'll give you the choice: do you want black and white or color? It's all right there in the top, and then you add to cart, whichever one you select. And then it will give you're picking the cover, then the size, then the interior.
And the undated planner as well?
Now, the undated planner has not been updated as of yet. It will probably be updated before the end of the year. If you prefer to have no dates in your months, then those will be updated before probably January 1st. But we wanted to get this one to you because people who are anxious for the 2022 planner to be playing New Year, we wanted to get these in your hands.
Good. We definitely did, especially since the undated planner is a 9-month, 6-month, and 12-month, and there's only 3 months left. So we decided to just go ahead and do the other ones. If you want an undated planner, it has last year's cover on it, and it doesn't have the date. It just has the
and it
cover.
Does not have the updated pages. One other thing I wanted to mention is that we did get a couple mentions last year that some of the early pages were hard to read in the smaller planners because we just kind of shrunk down the pages. This was our first attempt at doing smaller pages. But this year, the smaller planners have a couple more pages because we took the text where you write things out and we divided it between a couple pages when it was necessary. So you have a little bit more space. We did add that to the smaller planners for those of you who felt like it was not enough space to write.
Yeah, so that's something we listen to you guys on. So, and we appreciate all the feedback. Now, we do have if you guys have any questions, now is the time to post them. We do appreciate all your comments and your thoughts and the way that you've used the planner. Thanks for everybody for making those comments, because I really feel like it helps other people to get ideas on how they could use the planner. And certainly we do appreciate your kind words about the planner too. So that's fantastic. So any final questions before we wrap up tonight? And you can throw them up. So this has been really fun, this project this year, to see the different kinds of planners. I hope we hit all the different personality types, and that's been fun. And I love that all the ladies that we had on tonight had a different color or different cover for their planner. It really kind of shows me the different personalities that they have. So I think that's really fantastic. So good. All right. Well, as we wind up here, again, we have a 48-hour launch sale, 25% off. And it's not only on the planners, guys, it's on everything in the store. So by the way, just as a note, that we also have these really cool journals, and the journals are the journals that I used at the Deep Thinkers retreat, Deep Woods Writing Camp. And it's a great way for you to start thinking through how you're going to jumpstart your story. So if you have a friend if you like journaling and thinking through your story every morning, this is a great way to do it. It makes a great gift for a friend. Anyway, they're all 25% off right now. And Kim asked, will they ship to Canada? And Terry?
They do ship to Canada. In our experience, Lulu, if you buy it through the site and ship it to Canada or at other international places, it will charge you a lot more shipping. However, I do believe Lulu has some factories in Canada. Now, so I believe you go to our site, there's actually at the very bottom, it says international buyer ? If you click there, it'll take you to our Lulu site. Now, the difference is this year, because we have so many options between colors and black and white and sizes, we have to upload those all separately to Lulu. What you are looking for, the combination is not there. Please message me at planner@mybookTherapy.com, and I can make sure that make sure you let me know what cover, if you want color interior or black and white, and which size you want, and I can make sure it's up there within probably 24 to 48 hours. It'll be up on the Lulu site, because Lulu, if you buy it through them, it'll be a lot cheaper because they can ship it directly from within Canada. We can't do that from our site. It won't let us do that.
So the short answer is yes. Click on the international link, go look directly at our distributor and see if they have what you want. If not, email Terry and she'll make it get it for you. Laura asked, can you talk about the Dare Greatly journal? So that's the journal I was talking about. So inside the journal are specific directed questions about you while you're writing your story. And every morning they kind of ask the same questions and you answer it. And in a way, it gets your brain going. And the reason I wrote that journal for Deep Woods Writers Camp was to help people grab the stuff they'd done the day before in their writing, look at what they wanted to accomplish, and then jumpstart their brain for today. So it's a really great way to dive into your writing. So let's say you're doing, I'm trying to remember, Terry, how many pages is in it? Is it 90 days?
I think there's more. I think it may be 90 because it's a double spread. So I think it's around 90 days. It's a great way the person who mentioned struggling getting back into your story, because you kind of think through a lot of what you're trying to write.
Yes.
And I often write it out as a prayer, like God really be with me in my writing, and I kind of write that out in the.
If you click on the images, can you see the inside?
I think so.
I think so.
Okay.
I
can't pop over there right now, but I think so.
Yeah, no, I think so. If you can't, let us know and we can take a picture. But the journals are really a great gift for writers because it really helps them focus on getting it on the page. So yes. So I would encourage you to get one. I have one here somewhere. Oh, I might have left it in Florida, but I love the Dare Greatly planner or journal. It really helps me to think about why I'm writing and then it's really great if you're doing like a massive project and you're writing like every day and really want to keep going. But also it helps you for picking, it actually works for if you're just picking up something too as well. So if you have anyway. All right. Kelly Bridgewater asked, does the 8x10 cover lie flat? It does. So it's I love this because it's really easy to write on. It's not, it has a really nice writing surface on it. So yes, it does. would this be a good planner for someone who does not write? Yes, they would have to ignore the writing stuff in the back. But I've had teachers use it. I've had bloggers use it. Of course, they're writing. Podcasters, of course, they're writing as well. People that are homeschooling, I've had them use it because they are, trying to figure out how they're going to orient their day. Crafters have used it. It's very, and entrepreneurs. It's really a kind of an entrepreneurial book as well, just helping people get going. The bent is more towards a creative, but really it's also towards entrepreneurs. It's like authorpreneurs, right? So, but yes, you could use it for someone that is not necessarily somebody that wants to live by their values, wants to learn how to organize their time, and they would just ignore the writing stuff, which there's not that many writing things in it. There's, the tracker in front, there's the word count thing on the top. And then there's the writing stuff in the back. So if they weren't writers, they could use that for something else. So definitely it would be for, like I said, I've seen a lot of different, I've seen teachers use it a lot, and I've seen a lot of other kinds of people use it, even if they're not writers. So yes, good question. Lisa said, yes, you can see the inside pages on the site of the Dear Greatly journals. So good question. Thank you for that. All right. Any other questions? Don't forget to grab your door prize. Okay, so go to the link and fill out the form. You should get the door prize, or you should get your thanks for coming, your door prize, and then also you'll be entered in the drawing for the actual door prize with the little gift baskets. There's 2 of those. All right. Well, it looks like, yep, there's the door prize. So, and don't forget to grab your, I guess it's thank you for coming prize. So good. All right. So we really appreciate you guys being here tonight with us and celebrating the launch of the planner. We are so excited about it. We really feel like the planner changes lives. I've heard a lot of people. In fact, I was at this conference this weekend, and 2 people that I pulled out their planners, and I was like, oh, wow. And they're like, we love this. And I had no idea that they used it. And they were just talking about how much it had changed their lives. And when I say change your life, it's not that you live differently. It's that you live with intention and you realize it, right? You're like, oh, this is how I live with my values. Instead of, just sort of saying, do I? It's like, oh, yes, I do. This is how it's focused, right? And then putting things down in a way that say, okay, I'm going to organize my time and my thinking. So use it how fits you best. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. We're at planner@mybooktherapy.com. It goes right to Terry, and she answers the questions. If there's a really tough one, she can ask me to answer it. And if you want writing help on how to write a novel, I would encourage you to check out Novel Academy. We are very, very interested in helping you guys write that story inside, the one your story matters to us, the one you're living and the one you're writing. And we would love to help you get published and stay published and build a brilliant career. So that's what we're all about here. Let's change the world one great story at a time. So thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Jean. You're so sweet. I appreciate you being here tonight. We appreciate all of you guys being here tonight and celebrating with us. So get the planner. It's 25% off now for the next 48 hours. And we hope you have a great year. And until we see you whenever, go write something brilliant. Bye.
Bye.